has been the one constant on this team throughout the season?
The one constant? Aaron Glenn.
Well, yeah, but think more offensive side of the ball.
The running backs.
Well, close.
Jared Goff.
The people that do the work for the running backs.
Oh, the offensive line.
Of course.
But Taylor Decker has missed a couple games, which we've seen the offensive line look a little bit more human.
No, that's true. But guess what? Dan Skipper stepped the hell up last week, and this offensive line continued to do what this offensive line does. I keep saying it. As long as you have that offensive line, you can pretty much do anything. You want to know why the Lions run the ball so much on third down? It's because you have trust in your offensive line that they can create a push and they can get you in either a first down or a fourth and manageable. As you know, the big topic of conversation is, why does Dan Campbell go for it so much? Well, when you have an offensive line like that, I can do whatever the hell I want to do. So I think this offense, of course, is definitely the most elite unit. And I hate to ask the defense to step up even more because they have stepped up. Just being real with you, they have showed out this season.
Is there a level when you look at the team, because we got to pick one? Is there one level, whether it be you got your secondaries, your safeties, your cornerbacks, your linebackers, you got your defensive line, and then on the offensive side, is there anybody or any one of those units that we need a little bit more out of?
I think
we're talking about the Bills game now.
No, that's true. I guess you would say the defensive line in that case, because getting Josh Allen to the ground is going to be paramount. This is somebody that hasn't been sacked in 3 games now. So, and he's somebody that could, yes, he hasn't been sacked in 3 games.
Okay, all right. And I don't mean to cut you, because it's about, that's what the conversation is about.
Yeah.
As it relates to the Bills game. 3 games. What is their offensive line doing so well? And now I understand why you're saying the Lions' defensive line is probably the one that you want to see go out there and play lights out. Because 3 games in a row, not getting him on the ground. No, you got to have this guy under a different level of duress.
Well, no, it's definitely tough because they do give him time to, go through his progressions and see what's downfield. But the big thing is the dual threat version of Josh Allen. It's his legs. He can get out of the pocket. He can create plays, off script. So that's the biggest thing that the Lions have to worry about in this game is the rushing aspect of Josh Allen. I've always said, throughout the season that, we face running quarterbacks, but we have yet to face a quarterback that throws as good as or runs as good as he throws. And we finally have that in Josh Allen. This is somebody that can kill you and put up 100 yards on the ground damn near and still kill you for 300 yards. So getting him to the ground is going to be paramount. And even if you don't get him to the ground a lot, you have to be in his face. It has to kind of look like the Packers game did. Although they sacked Jordan Love one time in that game, he was uncomfortable the whole game, and you could see it. Like he wasn't able to really get through his reads. Some of the passes he was throwing up there, he was sailing passes, he was rushing throws. That's what you need to see, because Josh Allen is somebody that when off script, he's almost better than what he is in the pocket and actually just going through his progressions normally. So if the Lions defensive line can step up once again, and I hate saying that because they have done a damn good job so far this season, and in the face of injury, going out there and providing a serviceable pass rush against a multitude of quarterbacks. But if you can get a little bit more from them, you're getting a lot of players back. You're going to get Levi O back, it looks like. You're going to get DJ Reader back, it looks like. You're going to get Pascal back, it looks like.
Yep.
So that is big, huge help coming to help you. So I just feel like if you can get a little bit more out of them, your secondary, you have a full complement of your secondary. They have been playing lights out. The less time he has to throw, the better your coverage can be. And I just feel like that's the key to winning this game.
And as it relates to this defensive line, with some numbers there, as it relates to the last 3 games, it's 7, 10, and 6. Do you know what that refers to?
7, 10, and 6.
The last 3 games is a stat as it relates to the defensive line. 7,
is it
10, and 6.
QB hits?
QB hits.
Ooh.
It's what I've been talking about since the offseason. Listen, we took a step forward last year as it relates to pressures and being one of those squads that we knew were going to have you under duress from that standpoint. But you remember, KG, as we sat and we watched even Michigan play and we talked about what this defense does well, sometimes there were quarterbacks that could dice them up, and some people believed that Penix was going to have an opportunity to do so. People thought that Milroe was going to have an opportunity to do so.
That's a fact.
But we sat here and we talked about the fact that this defense, they're punishing quarterbacks to the point that everything they like to do by the end of the game, Penix looked like he was seeing ghosts, bro, and he was dragging his leg off the field at the end of the game. What does this Lions defense do? This year, what I think they're doing much better than last year is they're making sure to punish the quarterback. Those quarterback hits are things that every week, no matter what the sack totals are, they're getting 5 quarterback hits. And in comparison, I'm looking at the other teams, like in those same games, they're getting like 3, 4 maybe, 2 quarterback hits on ours, which backs up when we have the discussion. The offensive line, maybe the rumors of his demise have been greatly over-exaggerated because the other squad is barely hitting Jared Goff. He's getting the opportunity to scramble. He's getting the opportunity to run a little bit more than we're used to. He's getting the opportunity to literally run out of the pocket and throw it into the dirt. You know, and those things, aside from all of the successful plays, because when we talk about his incompletions, sometimes it's just those plays. It's not that he was off target. You know, I understand the offensive line has been doing, I think, a much better job than sometimes we sit back and give it credit for. And then from the defensive line standpoint, I want them to continue to keep those quarterback hits up. You're talking about Josh Allen. If he's not uncomfortable, I believe it's a long night for our defense.
Absolutely it is, man. Justin, what do you feel is the strongest unit or the unit that needs to step up in terms of this Bills game?
I don't know about step up necessarily because they do it so often, but it is the offensive line. And for that, the reason is the Bills average 4.7 yards per carry against, which is if you give that to the Lions, they're going to beat you every time. And if you give the Lions that, you give Jared Goff time to throw. And since Von Miller has came back for the Bills, their pass rush has been much improved. So I want to be able to negate that by being able to run the ball. So I think Gibbs and Monty having a big game is going to be big. Their Bills also have a pretty below-league average run defense. So I expect this to be a game where we just run and run and run. We bleed the clock. We try to keep the ball out of Josh Allen's hands. And I think that's how you beat him. You beat him by limiting possessions, scoring on your possessions, and being efficient, and that's exactly what I expect this Lions team to have on Sunday.
Yeah, and the one thing I am very confident is that the Lions have had the recipe for the mobile-type quarterbacks that can also throw the ball.
That's
and
true,
there's been a couple times this year in games where they told us we were going to struggle a little bit with these guys. How can their defense this? We've known how they – last year we knew if it's a mobile quarterback – or if it's outdoors, the Lions were going to have a long day. That's what people told us. We saw them start to slay that narrative of outdoors because they won a couple of those games, especially the Chargers game. A shootout, too. That was another narrative, right? We couldn't win in a shootout. But this year, you look at their defense as it relates to mobile quarterbacks, and that, to me, it really hasn't been that much of a question. Not that their quarterbacks haven't been able to a couple times break contain, but as it relates to what those quarterbacks and their impact against other teams, it was not the same impact against the Detroit Lions, and that's where I do believe Aaron Glenn has had the right schemes. We talk about Terrell Williams, we talk about Kelvin Shepard, I was about to say KG again. We talk about with these linebackers, no matter who stepped into that place, what they've done. That's where Jamal Adams, I know that dude Justin, your role player, your current role player, that's where I can't wait to see how they utilize him in this defense, in their defensive game plan.
And absolutely, you got to give credit to the defensive ends and the linebacking core as well in terms of limiting quarterbacks that can get out the pocket and hurt you. We've seen Jack Campbell improve, man, and he was already somebody that was great in the run game and that had excellent sideline to sideline speed, but he's been able to cover and kind of limit what quarterbacks can do outside of the pocket. You got to give ups to Josh Pascal. He's done a lot in terms of sealing off that edge and making sure that quarterbacks can't break contain. So I feel like this Lions defensive line has done a great job, and you got to give some credit to AG, to Terrell Williams, and Kelvin Shepard in terms of, what the linebackers have been able to do. But if they can consistently, at least limit, because you're not really going to stop Josh Allen in terms of when a play breaks down, but if you can limit him, because if you can keep him to maybe like 30 to 40 yards on the ground, I think that's a good day at the office, especially considering if you can limit him in the pass game as well with your secondary and how good we are in man coverage.
Those QB hits as well.
Absolutely.
You got to blow up the you know what? Don't let a running back pick you up on cover. Blow them up. You need all of these players that make the split-second decisions, because what a running back does, you want him to think, oh, crap, Jamal Adams is going to blow me up.
Absolutely.
I want you to just think. Even though I know you're going to stand there, we see what happens when we have the physical, aggressive advantage over another team, and we've been able to shut down other teams' running backs. Their yardage. Josh Jacobs, I know he got those 3 touchdowns, but did he even get over 70 yards on the ground?
No, I think he got 99.
He had 99 in
but
that game?
Yeah, it was probably on a lot of attempts.
I don't think he had 99 in that game.
Did he? I have to check.
I thought he had 60. I thought the Packers had 99 for the game.
Oh, you're right. That's what it was. They had 99 total rushing for the game. Yep.
But I definitely want to double check that because I want to make sure that we got it right for the people. I got it up right here. Packers, he 18 carries, 66 yards, under 4 yards a carry.
So 99 for the game, and that's damn good.
They put them in it, and that's what I'm saying. Like when I think about all of the different narratives, the Lions, even against the 49ers, I was told we were completely outmatched and outclassed. There was no way we were going to shut down Christian McCaffrey in the run game. Like, yeah, y'all had a cute season doing that all season, but it ain't going to happen here.
Yeah.
And that's where, when we talk about Josh Allen's ability to run, what got them kind of caught up in that championship game as related to Brock Purdy using his legs more, I believe the Lions defense this year has been much better at keeping that contained.
No, absolutely. And it helps when you have a guy in the building like Hendon Hooker that you can have in practice to kind of simulate, what a running quarterback can do. So I feel like they've made a lot of strides in terms of coaching up. Hey, you cannot let them beat you. Once they get to that second level, it's pretty much over, like if in terms of quarterbacks gaining yards. So I think they've really been progressive in trying to make sure quarterbacks don't get to that second level, and you got to give props to the coaching staff for that. Go ahead, Justin.
I completely agree with you. And speaking of it, that how important it will be to keep Josh Allen off the field. There's a time of possession, and the Rams last week outpossessed the Bills by a absurd margin, 38 minutes to 21 minutes.
Wow.
And it really forced Josh Allen to go into hero mode, which is what you want.
Yeah.
When Josh Allen is in hero mode, he makes mistakes.
Yep.
He tries to force throws. He fumbles. That's where you need to force him. You need to force him into. You need to take the lead, and you need to hold the lead. You need to be a front runner. You need to be able to run the ball. You need to do everything that has made this team great and just play Lions football. If you play Lions football, we're at Ford Field too. If you play Lions football, we should win.
You know what?
Straight up.
I love that point, man, because it goes back to the Packers game. Jordan Love was 12 of 20, 206 yards, man, for the game. For the game. That is it. And a large part of it had to do with the Lions choosing to, we're not punting it to you.
Right.
We're going to go for it on fourth down. We're going to go for it on fourth down. We're going to go for it on fourth down. In time of possession, you know how that shook out? In the Lions' favor.
I know they dominated.
36 minutes and 6 seconds to 23 minutes and 54 seconds. When we talk about which team or which unit needs to absolutely show out, obviously all of them. And they have done well across the board.
Yeah.
But when we talk about the strategy where they can maybe gain an advantage, maybe it is the IQ of Jared Goff. Maybe this is one of those games where the MVP kind of aspect, we know that the narrative that's going to ride on this game. But as long as Jared Goff is playing smart, as long as Jared Goff is confident in what they can do, because we think about that. Who pressed Dan Campbell to go for it on that last fourth down?
It was Jared Goff.
That's what I'm saying. So now he holds. We know this now. He holds all the cards. This isn't a situation like with Matthew Stafford. I remember when they brought in Joe Lombardi and they were like, they took away certain play calling duties and opportunities away from Matthew Stafford and put the plays on his arm and all of that. It's like, what? No, Jared Goff is a guy who they're letting him call the plays at the line and dictate what's going on within the guidance of Ben Johnson. And to me, that's a great point by you, Justin, how they work to control the time of possession through the high IQ play of Jared Goff, what the offensive line does, and that running back duo is going to be masterful.
No, absolutely. And the Bills' defensive line, while they do have talent on that defensive line, they aren't like one of the better defensive lines in the league. So you can absolutely go in there and control the pace of the game, because that's why the Lions' offense is so good. It is time of possession. It's literally 8, 9, maybe 10 play drives getting down the field, but not just settling for field goals. It's punching it in for 7. And that's what makes the fourth down decisions so crucial, because these drives are already long as hell, and now we got to defend you for 4 downs on top of that. So I think that's a big key, and also executing in the red zone is going to be paramount in this game, because when the Lions execute in the red zone, they are damn near unbeatable. This is a team that is one of the better teams, maybe top of the league in terms of scoring in the red zone, scoring touchdowns in the red zone. So if you can put that kind of pressure on the Bills and they get down there and know this is 4 down territory and we don't know who the hell we might see. It could be Laporta, it could be Gibbs, it could be Monty, it could be J-Mo, like it could be Jared Goff on an indoor. Like, you don't know. You don't. The variety of play calling that Ben Johnson can do in the red zone is like it's unbelievable. So I think as long as you execute in the red zone, and like Justin said, you control the clock, keep away from Josh Allen. That's the biggest key to success in this game.
I like that. That one is. I love that one. Even more so than trying to contain an all-star. Why don't we just use our own MVP caliber candidate and our own dynamic best running back duos and best running back room in the entire NFL? Why not utilize them? And that's where every time we come up against these games early on in the season, I was very, very confident, especially Dallas. I was like, we about to go there and work them.
Yeah.
I really felt that, and it's because when I just sit down and look at the paper of it all, we got a lot of dogs.
Yeah.
We really have. I'm not talking about like just good players. We have a lot of dogs who have proven themselves to be some of the best defensive players at their position and some of the best offensive players at their position.
Yep.
Think about this. In the backfield, right? In the offensive backfield, you got the best running backs in the league. And in the defensive backfield, as your safeties, you got the best safeties in the league.
That's a good problem to have.
That's a good problem, and especially when you're going to play the Bills. What are we talking about? Forcing Josh Allen into mistakes.
Yeah,
I think Kirby
which
and
he's not impervious to.
And Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph, they have a way to make even legendary quarterbacks make mistakes.
No, absolutely, and that is a key because Josh Allen is somebody we know to be a gunslinger. He's of that Brett Favre mentality. He's going to take chances down the field, and the Lions secondary have to be ready for that. So, like you said, man, if the safeties can come with it and be able to, pretty much control the deep end of the field because he's going to take shots. If you can control that part, then that's going to make the day even harder on Josh Allen, knowing that I can't get shit over the top because this safety tandem, they're just everywhere, man. You can plug and play them, and they are literally all over the field.
Man,